Chapter 5 Season 2 is here, and with that, everyone's ranks have reset. Now, we all have the same goal of getting back up to Unreal as quick as possible, and whether it's your first time hitting Unreal or you hit Unreal every season, the tips and strategies that I'm going to be showing in this video will help you guys out. So make sure that you do drop a like and subscribe as we aim for our goal of 10k subs, where we can do our $100 sub-only tournament. Thank you guys very much for clicking on this video, and without further ado, let's start off where we're going to be talking about the early game scenario and what you want to do to be as successful as possible. Okay, so before we cover early game, I first want to start off by talking about whether it's important which game mode of ranked you play. So do you gain more percent from playing solos, duos, trios, or squads? Well, as much as Epic Games and Fortnite have never come out on this, it's very clear that the most percentage gained in ranked is going to be solos. Now, we know that Epic Games have made it way harder to rank up this season, which is half the reason I am making this video in order to help you guys out. Again, if you are looking for a teammate, little plug, I do have a Discord server, the link to which will be in the description. You can join our community and find a teammate in there. I also stream this all live over on my Twitch, twitch.tv/manzanosis for ranked gameplay, as well as playing with viewers and other tournaments. Anyway, now all them plugs are out the way, is it actually more important to play solos, duos, trios, or squads? Like I say, solos and duos are the main two which are going to gain you the most percent, but overall you want to play the mode where you're likely to be more successful in. For example, if you can drop a 10 kill win in solos most games, then you're going to want to play solos other than duos, because solos is the game mode you'll rank up quickest. However, if you aren't a great solo player but you have two good friends, then you might be able to play trios and be a lot more successful in trios. Therefore, if you can drop high kill games all the time in trios, as much as you're not gaining as much percent per game, if you can do this on a regular basis, it's eventually going to amount to you gaining percentage at a quicker rate. So it depends on you as a player and which players you have surrounding you in order to beat which game mode you are the most successful in, and you choose the one that you're most successful in, and then that's the one you should play. Now let's cover early game and what you should do in the early game to be most successful in ranked. So starting off with early game, there are two main different types of playstyles depending on which player you are. You have the calm and aggressive playstyle. First up, for the aggressive playstyle, which is more like what I want to play, I'll be showing footage in the background of me winning off spawn due to the aggressive strategy. What you want to do first is make sure that you land and scout around to spot any enemies. From there, I always like to give myself the mat advantage on any of the other players in the POI, as this gives you an advantage. While you're farming mats, often more players will fight, meaning you can come in and third party and just kill off what are low HP opponents. Obviously, especially while you guys are in the lower ranks, a lot of these opponents aren't actually that high skill, so it means you can pick up quite a few elims with minimal effort. As you guys can see, I easily wiped Pleasant off spawn, despite obviously landing late, because we gave ourselves that mat advantage and loot advantage before pushing in. Then, if we're talking about more of a calm playstyle, it may be better for you guys to land somewhere on the edge of the map, more low-key. Maybe this is a location that you discovered last season, or one that you've already discovered this season that you like, where you're only contested by 1 or 2 players. The reason for this is because you need to learn that drop spot, you need to learn the rotations out of that drop spot, and you need to know exactly what you're going to be doing game on game. Then you can continue to follow this plan every single game, which builds consistency in your games, and once you build that level of consistency, you become familiar with everything that you're doing, because you don't want to die off spawn in ranked. If you die off spawn, it's going to heavily impact your rank percentage. Think of it as some sort of bus fare. Every time you load into a game, you might lose 3%. Now, we don't know if this is correct, but this is effectively how it works. Every time you load into game and you die off spawn, you might lose 3%, and again, that will set you back an extra maybe 20 minutes or another game of gameplay, and also it's very frustrating. So it's very important that you guys plan out effectively what you're going to do off spawn, no matter your playstyle, in order to win, and always make sure to give yourselves that mat and loot advantage before pushing in. Let the other players fight first and then push in afterwards. So next up, I want to talk about what to do in the mid game. So it depends whether, again, you're a calm or aggressive player. If you are a more calm and defensive player, the main thing you're going to want to do is rotate dead side. Now, most of us these days know what dead side is, but it's effectively the part of the map which is going to be least congregated with players. For example, if the zone has pulled to the far east towards Pleasant Piazza, more likely that there's lots more players around the area of fencing, fields, and restored reels than there is going to be Pleasant Piazza, as not many people will have rotated over there. So it's effectively just the side of zone where least players are. Now, why is this a benefit? Because it allows you to stay over there and avoid fighting opponents. And also, other players that rotate over to the dead side might not be the best at fighting mechanically, because they are also trying to play safe and for placement. So therefore, you can get aggressive and look for kills on the dead side, therefore meaning you're more likely to be successful in the game. Now, when I talk about an aggressive playstyle, what do I mean in doing? An aggressive playstyle is pretty much just W keying, like you're seeing me doing in the footage in the background, but you always want to make sure that you're smart W keying. You're either fighting in a location where you're are unlikely to get third partied, as that's a reason you can often die. So this could be, again, edge of map or on dead side. Or you want to be pushing in as the third party, like you've seen me do in the clip, where you just push in and finish off the fight. It's effectively as simple as that. You just want to be very, very careful what you're doing in the mid game, because again, kills in the mid game are not worth as much as they are in the end game. Kills after the top 10 are worth the most towards your rank percentage. Now I'm going to show you guys some ways in which you guys can improve your fighting to be more successful in ranked. Okay, so now the first map I want to talk about is W Keyer 1v1s by Ken Beans. Now in this, one player starts off weak and one player starts off healthy. So as you can see here, I'm starting off on the defensive, and what it teaches you is both defensive and aggressive fighting techniques. Like I say, one player is forced to box up and heal and then play offensive from there, and the other player is forced to W key the player that is weak. As you guys can see here, I'm going to have to W key this player which I'm playing against, and again, I recommend playing this against a highly skilled opponent so you can really practice. But what this map allows you to do is just effectively train both your offensive and defensive strategies, basically replicating a real game scenario. Now, the other map which I recommend you guys practice on is Speed Realistic 1v1s, again by Ken Beans. In this, you're played against one other opponent, where it replicates you with a certain in-game fight. So this could be that you don't have maximum mats, or you might have bad loot. Again, you can choose which guns you want to use, and this is all fully updated with the new guns for Chapter 5 Season 2. Thank you very much to Ken Beans. But this, again, just allows you to replicate them in-game, mid-game fights, which are often the most important fights within a game to either gain you that rank percentage or set you up properly for endgame. So finally then, I want to talk about patience and consistency while ranking up. You're not going to start off one day in Gold 2 or in Bronze and then the next day become Unreal. It pretty much doesn't happen unless you are exceptionally good at the game. Ranking up is going to take time, it's going to take effort, and at some points it is going to be frustrating. But the most important thing is that you play with the mindset like it is just any other game. If you play with the mindset that you're worried about ranking up and you're scared to fight any of the opponents in your rank, you're going to get dominated by much more confident players. So it's very important that you play aggressive, and you feel, even though you don't have to play aggressive all the time, you must feel confident when you do get into a fight with an opponent so they can't take advantage of you and your weaknesses. Now, what do I mean by being patient? Again, like I say, you're not going to hit Unreal tomorrow, so you have to believe in the process and you have to keep building consistency within your gameplay. Just because a drop stock doesn't work 2 or 3 games in a row doesn't mean that the drop stock doesn't work in general. It means that the way you're landing and fighting off the drop spot is wrong. So you definitely have to look at these things in order to adapt and improve and help build that repetition game on game. Because ultimately, if you can repeat the same processes every single game, you're therefore going to build consistency in your gameplay, which will overall lead to you gaining more percentage than if you kept switching up your drops for every single game. That's the best strategy I've found to rank up as quick as possible so far in Season 2. That's all for today's video. Please feel free to leave any comments in the comment section down below about other videos you would like to see. I'm planning on doing lots of competitive tournament content to help you guys out, as well as showing my own progression and other ranked videos as well as that. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video and find it helpful. If you have, just double check down below that you have smashed that subscribe button as we go on our road to 10k. Thank you everyone so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. That's all from me. Peace out.